Hello everyone. In this video we are returning to the topic of the biggest UFO UAP objects ever observed. And to kick it off with a banger, let's take a look at one of the mass sightings, definitely in the top few in terms of both the size of the object observed and the number of people seeing it. The famous Phoenix Lights event. The Phoenix Lights event took place on 13th of March 1997 and involved a series of sightings which were observed over the states of Nevada and Arizona in the United States. The event involving various luminous objects lasted approximately 3 hours from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time and covered a line running more or less 300 miles or 500 kilometers from Nevada over the city of Phoenix all the way to the edge of Tucson. The lights were first sighted over Henderson in Nevada close to 8 p.m. and were reported by a witness as a V-shaped object moving towards the southeast. Paulden in Arizona was next, with a sighting from a local police officer. The object, still reported as V-shaped, continued along its path and eventually reached the suburbs of Phoenix around 8:40 p.m. local time. Interestingly enough, one of the first persons to report the sighting of the large object from the air was none other than the actor Kurt Russell, who has a pilot license and was airborne at the time. In addition to the V-shaped object, many people also reported another sighting following the first one, with a series of more or less stationary lights which disappeared after a while. Some of the reports concerning the large object mentioned it being as large as even 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers in length. The authorities, including the then governor of Arizona, Fife Symington, initially dismissed the case as mass hysteria, but in an interview later on he admitted that at the time it was an orchestrated plot not to panic the populace, and he himself saw the object at the time. To date, Phoenix Lights remain one of the best known UFO sightings in history. Next, we are moving to Soviet Union, and the year is 1977. This particular event is known as the Petrozavodsk phenomenon. It was a series of sightings observed on 20th September of that year, and the line of sighting was extremely long. Starting in Denmark, it ran over Finland and all the way to the city of Vladivostok in the far east of today's Russia. The main chain of sightings took place between 1 a.m. Universal Time in Karelia and Finland, as well as around 3 a.m. in Lithuania. Other locations involved the cities of Leningrad, Helsinki, and eventually the city of Petrozavodsk. All the sightings reported a glowing object or perhaps different objects moving silently around the area. Observations in the Soviet Union reported bright luminous objects surrounded by an extended shell and emitting light rays or jets of various shapes. In Petrozavodsk, the phenomenon was observed by many people, including the police, crews stationed in the local port, the military staff of the local airport, and an amateur astronomer. That particular sighting mentioned an object surrounded by a pulsing, glowing cloud and moving along with direction changes. The object or objects were also seen in the air, and sometimes reports of light spots covering them were also heard. As the Petrozavodsk sighting had many witnesses with solid credentials, their reports were used to estimate the object as moving at an altitude between 6 and 7.5 kilometers, and the linear diameter of the core of the object varied in estimates from 60 to 120 meters, or from 185 to 370 feet. The entire phenomenon lasted between 10 and 15 minutes. On the 26th of January 1999, TV viewers in Chile were met by a sudden surprise. The Santiago station, more precisely the Televisión de la Universidad Católica on Channel 13, broadcasted video images from a satellite recorded in 1992, presenting what looked like a giant disc-shaped UFO. It was apparently an infrared photograph taken by a GOES 8 satellite over the Pacific Ocean, in the area located just west of the Chilean coast. According to a Chilean ufologist Luis Sanchez Perry, there were 3 images taken at 10-minute intervals, and the object was recorded very clearly. There was also an electromagnetic interference recorded preceding the object, and it is assumed that this particular disturbance was caused by the UFO itself. Sanchez and Chilean researchers analyzed this recording and eventually found another one of a very similar object recorded by a satellite in 1996, this time just off the east coast of Brazil over the Atlantic Ocean. The initial evaluation indicated that the disc-shaped UFO moved at the same speed as the geostationary satellite, so almost 6,700 miles or 10,700 kilometers per hour. The same study yielded the diameter of the colossal disk, which was approximately 400 kilometers wide, which would be probably something close to 250 miles. If true, this could be a possible alleged mothership of non-human origin. The town of Stephenville in Texas was the heart of a series of sightings between October 2007 and February 2008. The local residents have observed a large delta-shaped UFO in the area. The number of sightings included the chase of the mysterious object by F-16 jets, which took place on 8 January 2008, while the UFO was moving west from Dublin to Stephenville, with the story making it to the national news. The witnesses were numerous enough that an attempt was made at estimating the size of the giant triangular UFO. According to the reports, the object was somewhere around a mile or 17 football fields long, which hints at a size of approximately 1.6 to 1.7 kilometers. The object was also reported moving at enormous speeds, quite a feat given its size. The last of the giant sightings we are going to discuss in this video happened this year. In early 2024, Ukrainian soldiers fighting against Russia in the east of the country, and more precisely drone operators, recorded a giant object hovering in the distance. Upon zooming the camera image, they saw an enormous object of a slightly irregular shape suspended in the air. I have not found any estimates of its exact size, but given that some people trying to debunk the event said it may be a reflection of a ship from the Black Sea, for example, hint that whatever the object actually was, it must have been of a very substantial size. To this day, there is no explanation of what the drone operators actually saw that day in Ukraine. We have the footage, but the opinions are split as to the possible UAP recorded in it. That said, nobody provided a foolproof debunk of the sighting either, so for all intents and purposes it remains a UFO. Which of those sightings have you found the most compelling, dear viewers? Have you heard of other sightings of giant objects of unknown origins? If so, let me know in the comments. We can engage in a discussion, and who knows, maybe we will eventually enjoy part 3 to this mini-series. In the meantime, I am keeping a close eye on the ongoing drone situation developing in several countries as we speak. Hopefully this week brings us some clarification, and in the worst case scenario, more sightings. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you again in another video very soon indeed. Take care.